Singer David Burke was arrested late Thursday. David Burke, also known as D4VD, has been charged with first-degree murder and is now facing the death penalty for allegedly killing Celeste Rivas Hernandez. He was taken into custody just a few days ago, and recent reports suggest that his life may be in danger. New evidence is emerging daily, and it appears that David may have been involved in more than one victim.
Fallout continues for platinum-selling singer David, now in police custody, arrested yesterday by the LAPD in connection with a gruesome murder of a 14-year-old girl who went missing in 2024.
David's music label, Interscope Records, is already distancing themselves from the controversy. KTLA's Lindsay Pena is live in the Hollywood Hills, where the singer was arrested. Lindsay.
Yeah, Cher, Micah, the house where David was staying right before his arrest, relatively quiet today, and we're still not sure who might be inside. What we do know is that David is in custody, being held without bail until at least Monday.
Singer David Burke's arrest late Thursday afternoon was captured by TMZ. The 21-year-old was taken into custody at a home in the Hollywood Hills. The California Post also released footage showing officers in tactical gear handcuffing David before placing him inside a patrol vehicle. The musician, whose full name is David Burke, had been on the radar of the Los Angeles Police Department for months as a suspect in the death of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas, whose decomposing body was found in the trunk of David's Tesla last September. Although an investigative grand jury was convened in the case late last year, it did not return an indictment. At this point, it remains unclear what ultimately prompted his arrest on suspicion of murder. Legal analysis was provided by Allison Triel.
If you try to run, we'll take you out on premises and you will get bit.
I got you. All right, so the gate is locked. Do I open the gate? Sir? Open the gate.
Allegations that David Burke was involved in the murder of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez first surfaced last year, after her decomposing remains were discovered inside the front trunk of a Tesla linked to the musician in Los Angeles on September 8, 2025. According to prosecutors' reports, Celeste weighed approximately 130 pounds when she went missing. But when police found her, she weighed only 70 pounds. TMZ also reported that her body had been dismembered. However, there is speculation that the dismemberment may have been the result of the advanced stage of decomposition at the time she was discovered.
Tonight, more than a week after a body was found inside an impounded Tesla registered to the singer who goes by the stage name David, Los Angeles investigators identifying the remains as 15-year-old Celeste Rivas, the same girl who was reported missing last year, according to the Riverside County Sheriff's Office. Police first found the teen's decomposed body on September 8th after being called to a Hollywood tow yard because of a foul odor coming from the Tesla, which was impounded after a person reported the car abandoned. Law enforcement sources say the remains were not intact, and according to the medical examiner, it appeared the girl, who is described as having wavy black hair and weighing about 71 pounds, had been dead inside the Tesla for an extended period of time. The singer David, whose real name is David Anthony Burke, rose to fame on TikTok and is currently on tour.
On September 18th of last year, 10 days after Celeste's body was discovered in Los Angeles, David Burke's mansion was raided. Officers were seen removing multiple computers from the property. Neighbors also confirmed that the same Tesla in which Celeste was later found had been parked outside David's home for weeks before it was eventually taken to the tow yard. It is possible that Celeste was already inside the vehicle during that time. Recent reports indicate that forensic analysis of the seized computers allegedly revealed that David had stored hundreds of hours of illegal sexual content involving underage individuals.
there's a big possibility that David's phone having illegal child content on it could nail him on one of his charges. And this evidence that the prosecutors have could be exactly why they charged him with continuous SA of Celeste Rivas Hernandez under 14 years old. As you can see in David's charges, count 2 is continuous SA of Celeste Rivas Hernandez under the age of 14. This is really specific. It says David Anthony Burke, who did unlawfully engage in 3 or more acts of this SA. Then it says 3 or more lewd acts with Celeste R, a child under the age of 14, while the defendant resided with and had reoccurring access to the child. And people were wondering, well, why wasn't he charged for having this illegal content on his phone? Because it can be a federal offense. But in my opinion, I am pretty sure that whatever content he had on his phone, Celeste is on this illegal child content. Because mind you, at the age of under 14 years old, there is no consent laws at all. So that cannot be an argument at court that she wanted to be in this relationship or anything like that. You cannot argue that. It does not matter. If this turns out to be the case, this is going to be huge, because on that charge, this could be a slam dunk for the prosecution. What's even crazier, mind you, they're trying to tie in the fact that he was allegedly in this relationship with Celeste into the murder charge by a special circumstance. That, of course, would still need some evidence, but if you can prove one part of being in a relationship with her, oh wow. Just the count of him being with Celeste under the age of 14 carries a significant sentencing time if he is found guilty.
Nearly a year after Celeste's body was first discovered, the medical examiner has finally released the official cause and manner of her death. Due to the advanced stage of decomposition, many details could not be conclusively determined. However, one fact is clear. Celeste's death was neither accidental nor natural. It was a homicide. The autopsy report revealed that she died from multiple penetrating injuries. It also documented severe post-mortem trauma, including bilateral dismemberment of the arms and legs, extensive skin damage, 2 missing fingers, and the absence of her left eye.
And just to be clear, as we talk about this, David is innocent until proven guilty, and his defense attorneys have said that he did not murder Celeste, and he is not the cause of her death. So I want to go through the specifics right now. Again, it is not easy to hear this, but this is going to be an important part of the legal case. So her cause of death has been ruled multiple penetrating injuries. Her death has been classified as a homicide. I'm going to read verbatim. 2 penetrate, and by the way, they put diagrams in here as well, but 2 penetrating wounds of the torso, right abdomen with injury to liver, left chest with penetration of underlying intercostal space and cortical disruption of adjacent ribs. Other findings: bilateral dismemberment of upper and lower extremities, multiple additional skin defects. Death was pronounced at the scene. Autopsy examination was limited by extensive post-mortem changes. And by the way, this is something to keep in mind because you're talking about dismemberment and decomposition. There are 2 penetrating wounds of the torso with smooth edges that may represent sharp force injuries. The wound on the upper abdomen penetrates the liver, and the wound on the left chest penetrates one of the left intercostal spaces with disruption of the adjacent ribs' cortical surfaces. The left lung appears intact. The bilateral upper and lower extremities show full thickness dismemberment. Multiple other skin and soft tissue defects are present without apparent associated internal injuries. The etiology of these defects is not clearly apparent due to severe post-mortem changes. Post-mortem toxicology performed on liver tissue shows the presence of a low level of ethanol, which may be due in post-mortem changes or ingestion, and does not appear to be contributory to the cause of death.
Given the horrific nature of Celeste's death, Nathan H. Hochman, the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office, has announced first-degree murder charges against David Burke. Additional charges include first-degree murder with special circumstances for financial gain, killing a witness to prevent testimony in an investigation, committing lewd and lascivious acts involving a minor, and mutilation of human remains. The District Attorney's Office has also confirmed that it intends to pursue the death penalty. According to Hochman, Burke allegedly killed Celeste in order to protect his highly lucrative music career, which she was threatening on the night of the incident.
Anthony Burke the musician known as David, spelled D4VD, in connection with the brutal and horrific murder of Celeste, a 14-year-old at that time. These charges include the most serious charges that a DA's office can bring. That is first-degree murder with special circumstances. The special circumstances being lying in wait, committing this crime for financial gain, or murdering a witness in an investigation. These special circumstances carry with it, along with the first-degree charge, a maximum sentence of life without the possibility of parole or the death penalty. The determination on whether or not the district attorney's office will seek the death penalty will be made at a later time. Before I get into the actual charges, and there are additional charges against Mr. Burke, including continuous sexual acts, lewd and lascivious sexual acts with an individual under 14 years old, and mutilating a human remains of a body. Before I get into the description of these charges and their seriousness, I want to look at this as a parent. I am a parent of 3 children, and a parent's nightmare is a situation where your daughter goes out one night and never comes back. As we will show in a court of law, and what I also want to make sure about that the understanding of these charges is clear, is my description of these charges is not evidence that we are going to present in court. These charges, in fact, will not be evidence in the court. Evidence will be the witness testimony, the documents, and different types of admissible testimony that we will admit into court in the prosecution, and if it leads to the eventual trial of Mr. Burke, to convince a jury of 12 people beyond a reasonable doubt that each and every one of these charges is true, as well as the special allegations and circumstances that have been alleged. Now, back to this being a parent's nightmare. On April 23, 2025, as been alleged by the complaint, Celeste.
Prosecutors allege that David Burke planned the murder because Celeste was threatening to come forward with claims that he had been involved in an inappropriate relationship with her since she was 13. They also revealed that the delay in filing charges was due to the sheer volume of evidence, more than 40 terabytes, that needed to be reviewed. According to prosecutors, there is a substantial body of evidence linking Burke to the crime. Several investigative journalists have also stated that, based on the available information, it would be extremely difficult for him to successfully defend against these charges.
Apparently, there have been 4 months of secret grand jury proceedings. We believe that Mr. Burke is entitled at the earliest opportunity to an open preliminary hearing and the proceedings not be done in secret. So we are asking for a preliminary hearing to be set at the earliest possible date.
Thank you. So the matter will be set. Plea of not guilty has been entered on behalf of Mr. Burke. The matter will be set in Department 105. The matter is ordered assigned to Judge Charlene Almeida in Department 105 for all purposes by the judge of the supervising judge of criminal.
Given almost no discovery thus far, we've received a 3-page follow-up report, no autopsy report, and a copy of the complaint. And we would ask the people respectfully to produce discovery at the earliest opportunity.
Your Honor, as I indicated to counsel, there's approximately 40 terabytes of discovery in this case. Moreover, in order to obtain the transcripts from a grand jury investigation, counsel has to file a motion. She knows the way the system works. I'm not able to gather those. They have to be provided after the court orders them released because it was an investigation. Second of all, if counsel plans on going to a preliminary hearing within the 10 days, it is unlikely that there will be very much discovery provided within that period, given the voluminous nature and how long it's going to take to copy onto drives. In addition to that, the coroner's report was sealed in this case in order to prevent it from hampering truthful testimony from witnesses that testified at the grand jury, so an order will also have to be obtained in order to get the coroner's department, which is now the medical examiner's department, to release those materials.
During the raid on David Burke's mansion in Los Angeles, police reportedly discovered several SD cards containing videos and images of Celeste. Authorities also found an incinerator and a chainsaw on the property. According to investigators, David allegedly planned to destroy evidence by burning it, but ultimately chose to conceal the body inside his Tesla after becoming concerned that the smell might alert neighbors.
David had purchased a burn cage, an incinerator, and it was at the house.
So that incinerator wasn't at the house before?
Well, we found it at the house, but I mean, why do you have an incinerator and a chainsaw? You don't need it at this house, and it comes with all the yard people and stuff like that. You don't do any of your own maintenance, right? But why do you have an incinerator and a chainsaw? There's evidence, that was left behind, like a SD card from a camera, photos of him and Celeste together, and so this is all stuff we passed on to. And listen, I've met with the DA's office. There's been grand juries. I think that those transcripts, they said yesterday, will be released soon, and so I think more of my statements will...
Actually, I'm so happy you brought up the grand jury.
Perhaps the most disturbing aspect of the situation is the allegation that David Burke showed no remorse for his actions and may have been indirectly incriminating himself in the months following the incident. D4VD reportedly gave an interview just months after the alleged murder of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas, during which he appeared to speak in coded language and make veiled references to the case. In the interview, he said, "I had a girl in my life, but she tried to ruin my career, so she had to vanish. I miss her, though." In one of his leaked songs believed to reference Celeste, David also stated, "Nobody ever caught me, but I've spoken too soon." He continued with lines suggesting silence in the face of questioning, implying an awareness of potential legal consequences.
That's a real conversation that happened. And the irony of it was that person that was saying, I love you, she's not in my life anymore. So it's like, people say that the string can't be cut and the connection cannot be severed, but I feel like it can sometimes. I really wanted the listeners to feel like they're reading a book almost, and they get into a different chapter with every song, but there's also that kind of pause where they can take every song in by itself and then have this kind of visual landscape in this interlude to kind of be in my head, in my mindset, and why I wrote the project like this and how everything went, just to keep them even more interested and connected throughout the project, for sure.
At the end of the interlude, correct me if I'm wrong here, she says, "I love you." Mm-hmm. You don't respond. She says, "I love you" again. It repeats itself and you don't respond. Was that done purposely?
Absolutely, because the next song after that is This Really Love? So it's kind of like a lead into that kind of a transition type thing,
I believe the last time you were here, didn't you say you never experienced love or hadn't been in love? You didn't?
Yeah, I wasn't in a relationship then. Nah.
David Burke's parents have reportedly declined to assist in his legal defense and are not expected to testify in the upcoming trial. Shortly before his arrest, David allegedly transferred ownership of 2 homes into his mother's name. While they have publicly maintained that he is innocent, they have also indicated that they do not intend to become directly involved in the case. In a statement shared with Rolling Stone, an attorney representing DeWood and Colleen Burke said the parents stand behind their son as he remains in custody in Los Angeles awaiting further legal proceedings. They expressed sadness and disappointment over his arrest, but reaffirmed their belief in his innocence. Family attorney Kent A. Schaffer also told Rolling Stone that the parents fully support their son. He added that they learned of the arrest while awaiting a court decision in Texas regarding their legal challenge to grand jury subpoenas seeking to compel their testimony in Los Angeles.
It is now being reported that David's family is refusing to appear before the grand jury in the Celeste Rivas case. TMZ obtained new legal documents in which David's family is claiming that a court order calling them to testify in California violates their due process rights. These are David's parents, Colleen and Dawood Burke. He also has a brother named Caleb Burke, and they all live in Texas. The family claims that the court process was not fair and that they were only shown censored documents explaining why why they were called to testify. So David's family believes that they were not given the full information and that part of the paperwork was hidden from them. A grand jury has been meeting since November in the Celeste Rivas case. Multiple witnesses have already testified. But again, David's family argues that because details were hidden from them, they don't know why they're being called as key witnesses. But the appeals court has given the judge 10 days to respond. And whatever the judge decides will determine if David's parents and brother have to testify or not. And TMZ's sources continue to claim that David will likely be charged for the murder of Celeste Rivas.
Interestingly, David Burke's brother has reportedly refused to support him, and in a recent post on Instagram, appeared to express support for Celeste instead. TMZ has reported that David is being held in one of the most dangerous jails in the United States. According to these reports, he is currently kept in a segregated cell and is escorted to the showers every other day. He is only permitted to make phone calls on those days. He is also allowed approximately 3 hours of outdoor recreation per week, but has no access to television. Additionally, he is not permitted any contact with visitors or other inmates during his designated recreation time. These restrictions are reportedly due to threats made against him, prompting heightened security measures to ensure his safety while in custody.
A week ago, David was staying in a $15,000 a month rental in Hollywood, and according to law enforcement sources, now he's being held in a segregated single jail cell with some pretty strict rules. He is not on suicide watch. He gets escorted from his jail cell to shower, which he gets to do every other day, and he's only allowed to make phone calls on those shower days. He gets some recreation time, but only 3 hours a week, and he has no contact with the other inmates during that rec time. He does not have access to a TV. He can't have any visitors right now, and he currently has no money on his books, so he can't buy any extras and has to rely on the bare minimum provided by the facility.
To illustrate the extent of the danger surrounding David Burke, there was recently a bomb threat reported at the courthouse where his trial proceedings are taking place in Los Angeles. One social media post described the situation as follows: "What a complete circus this has turned into. In the middle of the first court appearance for singer D4VD, who has now officially been charged with first-degree murder for the killing of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez, including allegations of mutilation and killing a witness, a bomb threat was suddenly called in. Everyone was evacuated as the bomb squad and K-9 units swept the building. There was widespread panic outside the LA County Courthouse. Eventually, authorities gave the all-clear after no device was found. This case is already deeply disturbing, with the death penalty on the table, and now this chaos on top of it. It's truly sickening."
What happened?
Right now, we're just investigating a possible bomb.
Does it have anything to do with anything going on today, like the Rivas case?
We just have to check the area, make sure everything's clear, and then we'll get you guys right back in.
Perfect.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Leaving this area sterile as of now. Because I know people are wanting to come in and talk, so I'd rather address everybody and kind of go over that route. Right now, I have a dog running through the building to make sure everything is good to go. Once I get the okay, I will let y'all guys back in. It'll be...
The Nathan H. Hawkman recently gave an interview in which he stated that Celeste's murder was premeditated. According to prosecutors, Celeste was a key witness in an ongoing investigation into David Burke's alleged relationship with a minor. On the night of the incident, she was seen as a direct threat to him. If she had testified, he risked losing everything. Prosecutors allege that this motive led to her murder. They have also indicated that Celeste may not have been the only underage individual involved, suggesting the possibility of additional victims.
Can you clarify something? Again, it came out today, but I just want to make sure I'm accurate. Your theory of the case is that Burke allegedly lured Celeste out to this property, that she was going to report him to the police about their relationship, and that is why he killed her? And if I'm correct, how do you intend to prove that?
So the actual details of the evidence will be presented at the preliminary hearing and later at a trial. What we charge, though, and what the complaint charges, is first-degree murder with 3 different special circumstances. The first one is lying in wait. And the allegation, as alleged in the complaint, is that Burke invited Celeste to his house the night of April 23rd, 2025, at which point he was lying in wait to murder her. The second special circumstance that was charged, and by the way, the reason you end up charging special circumstances in California is that if you have first-degree murder and you get convicted of it, it's 25 years to life.
Right.
But that allows the life sentence to be with the possibility of parole. If any one of the three special circumstances is found beyond a reasonable doubt by the jury, that then creates a life without the possibility of parole sentence, or if we so choose to seek it, the death penalty.
You mentioned cooperating and non-cooperating witnesses. I will tell you, people will look at this and say, okay, if the allegations are true, how on earth could David, this singer, kill this girl, dismember her body, leave it in a Tesla all by himself? There are those who say there's no way that he could have done this by himself, yet he's the only one charged. Are we dealing with a circumstance where there might be others involved, but they're cooperating, and if they choose not to cooperate anymore, they may be charged? Because I was listening to the press conference today. I was wondering if there's a little bit of opening that other people might be involved here.
Well, we have an ongoing investigation in the sense that if any individuals have information about Mr. Burke or anything dealing with this particular crime, please at any time reach out to the LAPD's Robbery Homicide Division or the DA's office and bring us that information.
Celeste Hernandez's family is speaking out about her relationship with David. Celeste's brother, named Matthew Rivas, told NBCLA that the family was aware of the alleged relationship between Celeste and David. Claimed that his sister vanished after going to see a movie with David in May of last year and never returned. Matthew claimed that David would frequently pick up Celeste in the same Tesla Model Y in which her remains were later discovered in. Just for a reminder, her mother came out to TMZ earlier this week and told them that her daughter had a boyfriend named David and had a tattoo on her right index finger that read shh. They also have content creators and streamers that are talking to her brother Matthew as well. In this message, he sends a lot of pictures of him and Celeste, and he also starts saying F David, and I hope he real slow. Now I want to talk a little bit more about the video that I just did a little while ago. We were talking about Celeste allegedly having this account where it shows her with a ring on her finger and a tattoo of David on one of her fingers. And somebody in my comment section posted this photo and my mouth was dropped wide open. Not only does it look similar to Celeste, you can also see a ring on the finger that looks similar to the ring that was on the picture on Discord. In this photo, it's not only the ring that caught my attention. Apparently, whoever this is has makeup on, but I really got to looking at the hair, and it's brown and red. Some of the pictures floating around of Celeste right now, you can literally see her hair is brown and red. Also, here is another one, brown with a red tint. When I got into the conversation about the ring, I showed this account that a lot of her friends saying was Celeste's burner account, basically when she ran away. On this account, she was tagging David a lot and he would even reshare her stories. This post really made me gasp because we see she did a story and she did a Q&A and they said, not gonna lie, David is kinda hot. And you can see her take a photo with a ring with a tattoo that says David on her finger.
From the reported prison threats to the courtroom chaos and the possibility of additional victims, this case is no longer just about a single shocking arrest. It has become a broader question of what investigators believe occurred behind the scenes, and whether the full truth is finally beginning to emerge. If even a portion of these allegations is proven in court, this could become one of the most disturbing high-profile criminal cases in recent years. As for David Burke, the outcome now rests in the hands of the legal system. What do you think? Does his legal team stand a chance of defending him, or has the case already gone too far?